Welcome to the Bulldog Broadcast on the Field of 68 Media Network. Thanks for joining us for today's show. First off, I'm going to break down some of the Tyon Grant-Foster news, what he brings to the table. It's huge news for Gonzaga. It gives them one more wing with size, experience, skill to add to the fact that they've already got a number of great wings. He's really going to bolster that attack on both ends of the floor. We'll touch on that. We'll touch on the win over Western Oregon, where they won a 111-53, as that was their final tune-up before the regular season starts next week against Texas Southern. After that, we'll be joined by Pacific's head coach Dave Smart, who heads into his second season. One of the best coaches you may never have heard of. He's the all-time winningest coach in Canadian college basketball. He is essentially referred to as the Coach K up in Canada. He is that good. I thought he did some good things at Pacific in year one. It'll be interesting to see how he builds upon that in year two. So thanks for checking us out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and review. Well, we keep moving forward through the kind of dog days of fall where fans are kind of curious about how the team's going to shape up, what the rotation's going to look like, what is the product on the court really going to feel like. And two exhibition games in now. Last night's game, we're going to touch on it really quick, exhibition against Western Oregon. Some tremendous stretches, in particular that 16-0 stretch to start the second half. I thought it was great. I thought defensively in the first half, after about the first 2.5 minutes or so, I thought they were really good. But the biggest thing, the most important topic to touch on today is Tyon Grant-Foster is eligible, right? It was kind of one of those things that's just been hanging over the program now for about a month. I mean, he was in a unique situation based on how much college basketball he has played, and then he commits to Gonzaga, and then there's some question marks about is he going to be eligible or not. And then 3-4 days before the craziness in the kennel, which would have been, I believe, September 30th, NCAA deems him eligible to practice. So he starts practicing. And then 10 days or so ago, they came back and said, you're ineligible. And so Gonzaga quickly put together, and Tyon Grant-Foster put together an appeal, an injunction, and it kind of went back and forth for 2-3 days. The NCAA and the lawyers on Tyon Grant-Foster's side in regards to where it was going to be held and what exactly some of the details were. But long story short, I know if you're watching this, you're probably been following this saga over the last week, and in particular these last 2-3 days, because it had to get done literally by today, because I believe today is the day that if there was no answer, this would have been the last day for him to have been able to be on scholarship at Gonzaga. But all that put aside, injunction went in Gonzaga and Tyon Grant-Foster's favor, and he is now eligible to play. Great news. We'll touch on him and what he brings to the table kind of more in this next coming weeks when we start diving into rotations, bringing in some guests who are insiders with Gonzaga that kind of see
the world's leading immersive basketball training experience that combines in-person skill development with digital gamification and virtual competition. At Shoot 360, you will train with our coaches, measure your skills with our proprietary technology, and track your progress on the Shoot 360 mobile app. Shoot 360 Spokane. Unlock your game.
Where he really might fit, but first off, tremendous player. 6'7" wing. 2 years ago at Grand Canyon, averaged 20 points. Over a 3.5 a game, 7 free throw attempts per game. Long, athletic, experienced. Knows how to score. Wants to be in a winning situation in a winning program, which is why he committed to Gonzaga. But it gives Gonzaga another tremendous option on the wing, both offensively and defensively. And if you watched the game last night on SWX or streamed it online, you see just how much depth and versatility this wing corps has in addition to size. I mean, I don't remember a wing group like this at Gonzaga in probably ever, to be honest with you. But that's the big thing. That's the top of the mind thing is Tyon Grant-Foster eligible, and it bodes well for Gonzaga. Now, it's going to take a little bit of time for him to get within the understanding and the conceptual framework of everything that Gonzaga does. But, the advantages that he has is that he's played at a high level college for a number of years, and he's played for some good coaches. He was at Kansas for a year under Bill Self and his staff. And then the last 2 years playing was at Grand Canyon. And so he's had tremendous coaching there from Bryce Drew. So I know things are different, but most of the concepts are going to be the same. It's going to be terminology and little details that he's going to have to get up to speed on both ends of the floor. But great news there. Last night's exhibition game, a 111-53 win for Gonzaga. You look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players in double figures again. Braden Huff, a very efficient 21 points, 8 of 10 from the field. Graham Ike was nearly unstoppable in only 18 minutes. He had 18 points, 7 of 7 from the field. Now take it with a grain of salt. Western Oregon didn't have much size. I believe 1 6'10" player on the roster, and he wasn't necessarily a big minutes guy. And most of Graham and Braden's work was against 6'6", 6'7" guys. But still, you like to see the way their shots came. You like to see the effectiveness of them being able to finish down low. Bright spot, again, was Davis Vogel. I mean, he is not backing down from a challenge. And it's going to see now, it's going to be interesting to see how that translates to when they play tougher competition. Texas Southern out of the SWAC in the opening game, and then Oklahoma and Creighton right off the bat. So that's going to be, a couple good challenges to really see if Davis Vogel is ready to be a rotational player. Diani, I thought, was really good. He's showing improvement on the offensive end of the floor in regards to being able to catch and finish in transition, in traffic. So those are good signs. You look at Adam Miller did not get the start, which, I think Coach Few is going to be tinkering with some starting lineups and rotations for the first few games. But there's no concern whatsoever from me that he didn't get the nod. But he played well with 10 points in limited minutes. He just looked up and down the list, and it's hard to truly pinpoint and spotlight one guy because I thought guys were pretty locked in. Only 9 turnovers on the night to go against 24 assists. They were much better at the free throw line this time, 25 of 28, where in the first exhibition, a little bit of a struggle, 24 of 42. They won on the glass by plus 20, which you would expect against an undersized Western Oregon team, and they forced 22 turnovers. You did see a number of different combinations out there that lead you to believe that, maybe they are going to go 10 deep. They could potentially even go 11 deep, although that starts to get really difficult to keep guys happy with that many minutes. But with the way and the pace that they want to play, it's possible. You saw a lot of three-quarter court pressure. You saw a lot of trapping. Saw a lot of switching. There was one group. It was St. Superi 6'3" at the point, and then you had wings going 6'7", 6'7", 6'7". I believe it was Fogel, Venters, and Tyon Grant-Foster or Warley, one of those two. And then you had Diani in the middle at 7 feet. I mean, I can't remember a time Gonzaga's had that much size. And I think that's it's gonna wear down a lot of teams. And it's something that is something that I know coaches at all levels. They always talk about positional size. Gonzaga has that at every position except for maybe the point guard with Braden Smith. But I've been happy with his production so far as defensive pressure, his competitiveness, and then his ability to get the ball down the floor quickly, get it to guys and allow them to make reads. So all in all, great stuff. We got a tremendous couple weeks coming up here on the field of 68's Bulldog Broadcast. We're going to round out talking to a number of other WCC coaches. We're going to start bringing in some other guests who are college insiders, as well as some former players, to join us and break down all the action. So next up on today's Bulldog Broadcast, Pacific's head coach, Dave Smart. Bulldog fans, we know basketball is all about teamwork, hustle, and having someone you can trust in the clutch. Life isn't much different. When challenges come your way, especially family matters, you need a strong team by your side. That's where Danetta and Associates step in. They're more than just a family law firm. They're your advocates, guiding you through the hard files life throws your way with skill and care. In Spokane and beyond, Danetta and Associates are ready to fight for what matters most, your family. Call 509-325-0125 or visit padlawoffice.com to learn more. That's padlawoffice.com to learn more. The Bulldog Broadcast, the Field of 68 Media Network. We've got a terrific guest today on our show as we kind of get through talking about all of the other programs in the WCC. Pacific's head coach, Dave Smart, heading into his second year with the Tigers. Dave, I appreciate you joining. How is the prep for year two going as opposed to year one? Because I can only imagine it's much different.
Yeah, I mean, it's been great. I mean, year one, we really, I didn't get here until sort of late April. And obviously the portal was pretty much, for the most part, done at that point, in terms of a lot of the guys. And we didn't have any NIL rev share last year. So it was difficult. I mean, we were trying to put together a roster. We had to fill every spot. We were trying to put together a roster. This year, obviously, we were there at the start of the portal. The lousy part of not having a ton of success is you're not playing that late. But the good part is you can get ahead of the portal and ahead of recruiting. And in this day, getting ahead of that is pretty important. And obviously now we have some rev share money, and we can't compete with the teams that have a ton of money in it, but we have some money where we can, we were able to recruit the way we wanted to recruit, and a lot of the guys, the type of players that we wanted to recruit.
When I look back at last year as year one, you guys lost a number of close games. But when I watched you on a number of occasions, I thought you guys played with a purpose. You played with some spacing. You played with a flow. How is it going to be in year two implementing what your total philosophy is as opposed to year one, as you mentioned, kind of putting together a roster kind of last minute, now that you've got a chance to kind of really evaluate guys and really kind of recruit to your philosophy, which when you think about it, your philosophy's had tremendous success at the Canadian college level as well as internationally.
Yeah, I mean, we shoot the ball way, way better than we did last year. We're much deeper than we were last year. I don't know if our high-end guys are, I mean, we're losing Lamar hurt. I mean, it is what it is. He's, you can't compete with that kind of money. I mean, he stayed in the portal till the last day, and then they called while he was in the portal and offered him money that, that he couldn't refuse, or sorry, people called to get him in the portal. I don't know how it all worked. Don't really care, to be honest with you. But so we lost a pretty good player and high end guy, but I think we're just as good at the high end, and then our depth is a ton better. And most importantly, we just recruited the way we wanted to recruit. So we recruited guys who want to work, that want. We have access to the gym, to two gyms 24/7, and we got access to two weight rooms 24/7. So we wanted guys who wanted to be in the gym, whether we had actual official practices or not. They wanted to live in the gym, and they wanted to be in the gym with each other and hold each other, do a ton of stuff where, even when I was when the coaches aren't allowed in the gym, but our guys are still in the gym a ton, and it's just a different type of mentality, and they hold each other accountable, and they're like-minded, and because of that, I think that we're improving at a faster rate when we actually are in the gym.
So you spent a number of years in the Canadian college level, and I had a broadcast last year, and I referenced you kind of as the Coach K of Canadian basketball. You won a tremendous amount of championships in a short span, but clearly there's a difference, and I don't say this is any slight. There's a difference between Canadian college than Division One basketball. There's a difference between high school basketball and FIBA basketball when you're talking international scope of things. What were some of the biggest adjustments for you when you came down? You were first at Texas Tech as an assistant coach, and then becoming a head coach at the level. What were the biggest adjustments?
Yeah, I mean, I think my time with the Canadian senior men's national team and the youth teams, there's more equivalent to what you deal with at the Division One level than what it was at Carleton. At Carleton, we had guys, we had guys for four or 5 years. You develop guys. They weren't great coming in, but they trained like crazy every summer. We had them for 4 or 5 years. They understood how to play the game. You could go in a process, whereas the national team, you have them for 10 days and then you're playing games. I think college basketball in this day and age is closer to that. You have them in our league. There's not a lot of retention. Guys are either moving up or moving down leagues, and depending on how much money your team has, and it becomes a bit of a who has the most money, as long as you're intelligent about how you use that money. I mean, it is what it is. So now you're doing things more, how quickly can you implement things that you want to do? And to me, the biggest thing there is bringing in the right type of people, and like-minded people, and people who understand how they got recruited, why they got recruited, and what the expectations of that recruitment are, as opposed to bringing in 12 different guys just based on talent.
Big thank you to one of our sponsors, Cooney's Tie. My family and I live on the north side of Spokane, and we absolutely going to Cooney's Tie, whether it is in person, whether it's takeout. The food is always phenomenal, as authentic of Thai food as I have ever had throughout my travels across this country. Unbelievable service, unbelievable price, unbelievable people that are involved with Cooney's Thai. Whether it's the pad thai, whether it's the pad see whether it's one of their awesome curries, you will be thankful that they took great care of you. Again, Cooney's Thai on the north side. Check them out online today, cooniesthai.com. Whether you want to sit in the restaurant and you have tremendous service, or order for takeout, it will be piping hot and ready for you when you show up. Thanks again to Cooney's Thai.
I mean, we don't have the same money that some places have, and that's just a reality. So we have to recruit the right type of people.
So, and with having to recruit the right type of people, are you ahead of schedule? Are you right on line with where you were hoping to be in year two? Because when I looked at kind of the progress of Pacific, Damon Stoudemire did a tremendous job. Leonard Perry, as good a guy as he is and coaches, he had some struggles. But you guys showed a lot of flashes last year when you beat Washington State on the road. You battled other teams. Where do you guys feel you are along the timeline of where you want to get to?
I mean, I think we're progressing. I think we're in a pretty decent spot in terms of where we want to be. I mean, obviously, you always want to be great. You want to win 6 games, but I mean that's just unrealistic. And I in this NIL world or rev share world, whatever you want to call it, people ask all the time, do you think it's sustainable, this kind of money and this? Well, to me, it's kind of, I don't know how people think. I can tell you how I think people logically think. I think if people are putting a lot of money into a program and they're seeing dividends from that program and success, they're going to continue to put money into it. And if they continue to see improvement, but if what they see is failure, they're probably less likely to spend as much money on that program. And right now, you need to keep getting better. You need to have a little bit more rev share money, and then you need to have some success with that. Like if we can go from what we did last year to winning, somewhere between 15 and 18 games this year between league and non-conference, and maybe a game or two, or even just be in a different spot when it gets to our tournament, because our tournament's set up in a way where how many games you win in the tournament is a little deceiving, because the better you do, the later you start. It's like every first game is kind of similar to the first game you had the year before, like in terms of competitiveness, because you're playing against a team at your level, because you don't start until your level is supposed to start. But if we can start our tournament a little deeper than we did this year, if we can win, another 6 more games, then all of a sudden the people who support the program see progress and they want to support it more. 6 more wins again the year after. And then you turn it into, in year 4, trying to get to 25, 26 wins, because you've grown everything involved in the program. Then you have a chance. I mean, like I said, would it be awesome to win 25, 26 this year? Sure. But that's with how we've developed from last year in all facets, like rev share, NIL, recruiting, starting at the time we wanted to start in terms of recruiting, what we want to do over the summer, what we got to, like, if you can improve 5, 6 games a year, that's realistic. And I think people stay excited and want to give more and want to help more. And I can't say enough about what Spokane's done with Gonzaga. Like that's a community built team, and the university's done a wonderful job. Mark's unbelievable, but like that, they are behind that team. That community is behind that team. You know it better than I do. But to me, like we're trying to be like that, like get good enough that the community gets behind it, that the alumni get more behind it, the boosters get behind it, see and turn it into something that Gonzaga have, where everybody invests and they see the benefits of that investment and what Gonzaga has brought to not just the school but the entire community. And we want to try to do the same, but to do that, in 1 year is tough. I mean, you need to, like, you're battling a lot of battles. I mean, you're battling the financial side of it and the support side of it, plus the reputation side of it and the history side of it and the all these things with a Gonzaga or St. Mary's even, so you got to do it. You got to do it in steps generally. Would I love to do it in 1 year? Would I love to have exact same money they have and the exact same reputation and win 25 games like they're probably going to do in year 2? Sure. Is that realistic? Probably not. So we just got to keep people excited. So our goal, and I think we're going in that direction where we can win enough to keep people excited about the progression we made last year and bigger progression this year, and then even more the year after.
Well, when I look at your roster, and obviously I haven't seen every player, right? But I see clearly Lamar Washington moves on to a different program. But you got a big piece back in Elias Ralph, who I think was a very versatile player for you a season ago. Casey Abekwe, he showed flashes at different levels. Last year was at UW, an interior guy with a tremendous wingspan. Is there another guy or two on your roster that maybe has kind of started to separate themselves as being a key component to allow you guys to have great success and move in that direction this year?
Well, I think we've got a few guys. Like I said, I like our depth. So, I think, I mean, biased because he's back, but I think Elias was our best player over the course of last year. I know Lamar was great, and he was second team all conference, but I think that was probably a flip of the coin in most people's eyes in terms. Lamar made the shot that beat Washington State probably, but if he doesn't make that shot, I think Elias probably would have been the guy. So we're lucky to have that level of guy back. You know, I think KC has a ton of potential, and I think we have another guy at the 5 spot in Isaac Jack who's played at Dayton, and we won't get. I don't think there's any way we'll get dominated by bigs the way at times we did last year, just with those two guys alone. The wild card's probably Caius from Florida. You know, he's spent 2 years in Florida. He's from Lithuania. He's very good. It's going to take him a little bit of time just to get back into comfort playing in games because at Florida, you know, he didn't play much, and he didn't play much because they had great players. But he can play at our level, and he'll be a real key for us. And then, you know, we've got sort of 4 other veteran guys and 1 freshman who I think, you know, are kind of wild cards for us. We brought in a guy who won a lot, and Justin Rochelin, who played for me on the U23 Canadian national team this summer, who played at UC San Diego and was 6th man of the year in the Big West. And they won 25, 26 games. He knows what winning, and you see it when he plays. He understands what winning looks like. And then we brought in TJ Wainwright from Long Beach, who had a really good year and can really, really shoot it, but they didn't win a lot. So sort of, you know, combining those two is finding a way to have Justin's understanding what winning looks like help TJ with his ability to put the ball in the basket. And then, you know, we got another kid from Lamar who won a lot, who's super, he's just a guy who can score. He's going to score 20 4 or 5 times this year just because he's so explosive. He shoots it extremely well. He's really fast. He's a little small for the 2 spot, but I mean, he incredibly fast, shoots it well, and he's just going to be hard to cover some days. And then to me, the biggest one for us is like we've got Caius, who hasn't played a lot but played at Florida, so obviously has that winning pedigree and understands what it looks like to play at the highest level and win, even though he didn't get on the floor. And then we've got a guy in from Maine, Jaden Clayton, who started every single game he played in the America East. A lot like Gonzaga's guy, Braden Smith. I mean, Braden was player of the year in the Patriot League, but you know, he has a ton of experience at a lower level, and he's been unbelievable for us. You know, and I just think it allows us a little bit of flexibility, and it allows Caius a little bit of time to get used to actually being in a game with fans, with refs, as opposed to just practicing against guys like Clayton from Florida every single day.
Well, that makes a ton of sense. Yeah, I've talked to coaches throughout the offseason, and there's that delicate balance of potential and experience and how you mold those together. And it sounds like you're really excited about your group. And I know this, I wanted to make sure we touched on your team so Gonzaga fans can hear a little bit more about other programs in the WCC leading in. But you and I have talked a couple times, and you've got a unique connection as opposed to a lot of other school coaches with your connection to Gonzaga, simply because you've been with the Canadian national team. A number of Gonzaga players, you talk about Pangos, Sacre, Kelly Olynyk, Nemharts, have been connected with Canada basketball. How many of those guys have you been connected with? And then kind of tell us a little bit about kind of how that's come full circle. Obviously, you root for them when they're not being an opponent to you on the scouting report, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, I've been connected with all those guys. I forgot about Rob.
McGilvery Environmental can handle any of your construction needs, specializing in new construction, repairs, residential and commercial asphalt paving, excavation, environmental mediation, and hazardous waste. Reach out to Kip McGilvery at McGilvery Environmental today at 208-556-6384 for your free estimate.
I was something to coach.
That's funny because just a quick side note, I have a seventh grade son. Rob has an eighth grade son, and they're on the same team. I coach them, and Rob, because he's a high school coach, can't coach seventh and eighth graders in Spokane. But he'll be at practice, and I'll walk over there and I'll ask him, "Hey, what do we need to do post defensive wise? What do we need to do here and there?" So yeah, it's great.
He's the best. He's unbelievable. But I've coached most of those guys. Kelly's dad coached against me the first 2 or 3 years I was at Carleton in Ottawa. So he coached at Toronto, and I met Kelly when he was in grade 5 or 6. He came to Ottawa and actually played with one of the coaches from Carleton's son in a club tournament, just because he made the trip with U of T. So that's when I met him. So I've known him forever. And when he was at Miami, whenever we went down to Florida to see my wife's family, we would go out to lunch with him, and if his dad was there with the family. So my kids got to know him pretty well. The Nemharts, I've coached Andrew quite a bit with the U18 national team when I was the head coach, and then with the national team. Well, my 13-year-old now, I mean, his favorite player is without question Andrew Nemhart. I mean, as I was saying to you, I was out to dinner with Claude, and I was telling him that we watched I think 130 Indiana Pacers games this year. Like, he watched every game he could live, and then on Synergy he would watch every single game, and then he watched probably 15 games a second time. Like, he plays the game like Andrew. He tries to emulate everything he does. I mean, Andrew's been really their whole family have been really great to our family and been really good role models to my two sons. So, the connection's pretty strong. And Ryan last year after the game came out and spent time with the boys, which was great of him. And their dad is their mom and dad, but I mean, their dad and I are really close friends, and he's just super special to my boys.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's funny because a lot of fans don't understand just how connected the basketball world is. And you might be rivals for that 40 minutes or during the conference season, but at the same time, you take out those 40 minutes or the conference season, you're pulling for each other to kind of have some success. So, Coach, I really appreciate the time. I wish you guys nothing but the best of luck in preseason. I'm sure I'll have you guys on a broadcast this year, and would love to, have you back on the field as 68 Bulldog Broadcast at some point this year, maybe before you guys play Gonzaga this upcoming season.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Tell Rob I said hi. I miss him.
I will.